Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about why it is so annoying to live with a legume allergy. So let's jump right in. Peanuts, soy, peas, lentils, chickpeas, beans, these are all legumes. Just because you're allergic to peanuts or soy does not mean that you will automatically be allergic to all of these other legumes, but some of us are. I'm allergic to peanuts, I'm also allergic to soy protein, I'm also allergic to peas, lentils, chickpeas, and most beans. Peanuts and soy are on the top 8 list in North America, however, the rest of the legumes are not on the top 8 list. So what that means for someone living with allergies is that information is just not as readily available. So sometimes I'll email a company and say hey, I noticed you also make this chickpea flour. Do you make it on the same lines as the wheat flour? And then they'll get back to me and be like, yes, we do. And because it's not an allergen, we don't have to sanitize to the same degree that we would if it was almond flour or something. And sometimes they'll just say oh, we don't have to tell you that information, and we don't know that information because we don't have to. So it can be kind of like a roadblock, it can be really frustrating. For the first time ever in my life, I actually have to email companies to ask them whether they produce lentils or chickpeas or any of these other legumes, because I've just been mysteriously getting a lot of hives and stuff, and it's just not worth the risk. You don't know when there's going to be so much residue in something that it's going to cause an anaphylactic reaction, and I have had anaphylactic reactions from things that were cross-contaminated before, so it's not something that I really want to take a risk on. I'm going to read you an email that's pretty typical. So when I reach out to a company to ask if any of my allergens are present in their facility, I generally only get a response back for the top 8 allergens. So I'm not going to tell you which company this is, but this is a pretty typical response, okay? So I said, blah, blah, blah. I said, what about the bags of grains and whether they are produced on the same lines as any legumes or pulses? I'm interested in the oats, corn, etc. And then she says, good morning. We have 2 production facilities. The types of allergens depend on the place where the products were made. The only allergens present are gluten and sesame. At this other plant, the only allergen present is wheat. We have a team dedicated to managing allergens who put strict measures in place to ensure that the products you buy are safe, minimizing the risk of allergens in our production facilities and in our products. A table listing the risk of each allergen is made available for every of this brand's product. Hopefully this is helpful. And then I responded and I said, thank you, but my question is in regards to legumes. This is not a top 8 allergen, so it's not on your chart. It falls outside of the standard allergen table. Can you let me know if you have any information about this? And that was almost 3 weeks ago, and they just never responded. And that's usually what happens because they just don't know. Or the other thing that happens sometimes is that they'll respond and say, we do make products with legumes. If you're unsure about this, speak to your allergist. As if my allergist is going to know anything. He's going to be like, okay, try the product and be prepared to use your EpiPen if you have to, or don't try it if you think it's a risk. And as though I'm in a position to see my allergist every other week, every time I find a product that I have a question about, no, it's just not, no, it's not possible. I would have to wait 6 months to see him, and then I'd go to his office and be like, hi, can I try this thing? They can't provide me full information. And then he'd be like, people are really loving legume protein, legume flours, and I'm just kind of there losing your safe products, the things that you've come to rely on that are part of your regular routine, is really crushing when you have food allergy. Anytime I see that one of my favorite allergy-friendly companies has come out with a new product and they're advertising that it has tons of protein, or it's protein bar, or protein whatever, I'm oh my god, here we go. They've probably done something with legumes and I'm gonna have to stop buying their products and I'm gonna be super annoyed. In those situations, love, disappointment cannot even be conveyed. When that happens, it's just it feels like a betrayal. It just it hurts my heart. Some companies I'm okay with because, for example, Enjoy Life has Plentils, which is plenty of lentils in a chip, and they actually produce it in a clean way or something, in a way that is not cross-contaminated with everything else. So that makes me really happy too. Many other companies have just had to fall off of my safe list, and it really sucks. There are also some top 8 free bakeries, or like some nut-free, dairy-free, gluten-free bakeries, and people are always so excited to tell me about them, and sometimes I check them out, and then they use chickpea flour, and it's like, oh my god. Sometimes it just feels like there's just no reprieve. Like, there's always something. I totally get that, like, people want these products, and like, that's why they exist, and I'm not saying they shouldn't exist, but just like keep them separate, like just away from other stuff, you know, because if there was no cross contact, then it would not limit my food choices so much. And it's like, already it's like, okay, maybe I can't have like the new product that's being made, but then in some cases it's like it also like cuts out the old product that I had been eating for years, you know. And like, I don't need to cut any more things off my list. Like, I need to add things. Like, I don't need to cut anything else out. It's very frustrating. Legumes have exploded in the last few years. 2016 was the year of the pulse, and when I heard that, I was like, food trends and popularity of certain ingredients and diet fads play a really big part in what is available to me and what is safe for me to eat, and it really changes so much over time. Pretty much pea protein can be found in like almost anything now. People seem very fixated with getting, I guess, that bit of extra protein. I don't know. As I started recording this video, McDonald's actually started adding both pea protein and fava bean protein to their Big Mac buns, regular bun, and sesame seed bun. So, you know what? It's just everywhere. It's in everything. If having a legume allergy has taught me anything, it is the value of transparency. I think a lot of companies need to get more comfortable with the idea that there will be allergens outside of the top 8. And often I end up avoiding foods just because the company is unable to give me information about whether they sanitize their lines after they make pea milk or chickpea flour or this thing with pea protein in it. And if they had that information available, maybe they could have more customers. When you have food allergy, you are always seeking clarity, you are always seeking information, you are always trying to make the most educated decision possible. And that's because there is so much that we don't know. We don't know exactly how much of an allergen or under what conditions it's going to cause anaphylaxis. We only know that you have to avoid certain things because they can cause anaphylaxis. We don't know exactly what's in our food sometimes. We don't know where things are produced. We don't know how they're sanitized. As food allergy becomes even more common, people are going to be having allergies to all kinds of different things. As a reminder, anything can be an allergen. So just because it's not part of the top 8 doesn't mean that it's not an allergen for someone. Thank you so much for listening to my rant. If you have it, then you get it. And if you do live with legume allergy, leave me a comment. I would love to know that I'm not the only person sitting in my home complaining. Bye.